Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue exploring contemporary Chinese expressions. And yesterday, no yesterday anymore. 硬控 is today's expression. And yesterday, we talked about the digital age, the gamers lingo, that we used red worm to describe a character or a player in the game that got agitated, that are going to upgrade into a next level of skill set or something like that. And we use that digital world, gaming world, marking of a person's temperature or mapped capacity to the reality of our off gaming world, that people get agitated and then they would appear red color or body temperature goes up. That physiology level of changes on our observable changes on our body. In a way, it's good that right we can feel, we can describe in a more detailed way of how humans behave. So I guess gaming's to express a humanness have to use some ways to use color, temperature to mark a person's development, make us, the users of language, appreciate our own developmental or progression with more visual, observable way. Okay. 硬控 is another expression that came from the gaming world. That's hard CC. And I have to check what is CC because I'm not a gamer, I have no clue. CC is crowd control. So it's in the gaming world, they are able to control supposedly your opponent players so that you hard control them, crowd control, that the players are kind of temporarily lose their own agency, something like that, that you can, I guess, win them out in the way you want. And again, this gaming concept bleed over to our reality. People use 硬控 to describe the experience when they are so absorbed into something, supposedly like um, a short video or I don't know anything that's a social media that's so retention of your attention, have a high engagement that you just couldn't stop. It's kind of like what's the word, addiction to social media, to videos or gaming, whatever is your vice, that you temporarily, your frontal lobe temporarily lose control, that you are controlled hard way by some other force that are so good at decoding human behavior that they can, as if you're the crowd, they can hard control you. And Chinese use that expression to say that you're so engrossed into something, so obsessive about something, that you temporarily lose control. I guess lose sense of time, lose the use of your own time your way. All right. So 硬 expressed by, as you can see, is pieced together by two Chinese characters. That means originally the dictionary didn't even have this character. And because it means hard, that hard, soft, such concept is one of the first words when we learn a foreign language, right? Because it's such a common human experience that we want to be able to describe that. So it's kind of came as a surprise for me that originally it was not in the dictionary. But later on, people create this concept. That basically means the left is a stone, the right here is gong, means change, stone change, which tells you that if something hard surfaced as hard as the stone, you're not going to be able to detect the change as much as a soft surface thing, right? Like if I press my muscle, I can see a dent. If I press like this, it's not going to show a dent. So this hard surface, we compare it to stone level of hard. So that's why we have the stone on the left side. The right side, this gong is made of three-finger hand symbol holding this vertical line, horizontal line attached together. That's the ancient fortune telling tool. And eventually, it doesn't necessarily mean fortune telling anymore. It can be any kind of tools, handheld, pronounced as pu, and we don't use that in our everyday language as an independent Chinese character anymore because we don't have fortune telling as much. But in ancient times, this expression showed up a lot in making other characters. On the top is bing, is jia yi bing. So Chinese have this sequential concepts of jia means the number one, party A, sometimes we say. And a B is yi, and then bing is the third one. So sometimes we use bing to mean it's not the top tier, it's to the third level. And this was expressed by this horizontal line, which normally means external factor. Kind of, we can imagine it as under the sky. So the sky is the limit. And then we have this space, this big arch thing under the sky to show it's the space. And then we have this symbol that means comes inside. So one horizontal line, external factor, underneath is go inside this space. And that means together, that means almost external factor comes inside you. And that paired with the hand holding this fortune telling control thing together means changing. And I would imagine that this external factor comes inside you, and you, as a human, holding some tool, your human device, to counter that kind of, I guess, the external factor comes inside you to try to change you, but you have to use your own human device to decide how you want to embrace that change. So have sort of agency in that environmental force. So these two external, internal forces, they have to, I guess, come into harmony after being opposing each other, right? So this eventually becomes change. I guess that's how humans change over time, is you still have your agency, you're still holding some device, and then you're having the external factors coming, the external forces working on you, internalize that. And that's change concept. So stone change, again, to give you the sense of hard surface is changing as much as the stone. Okay, control, five-finger hand symbol. So here in this same screen, we see both three-finger hand symbol, which is the right hand, and five-finger hand symbol with a differentiator on the middle finger that have this tilt. It's not depicting anything in physical world. It's actually a differentiator because we have a hair symbol that looks similar, that have this puff of hair going horizontally, and they look the same as the hand symbol. So somebody decide tilt toward the left is the hand hair, toward the right is the hand. Five-finger hand symbol. When that shows in a Chinese character, that means it's the motion by the hand. It's the leading actor in this frame, versus the three-finger hand symbol holding a device is supporting character, so to speak. So that is not the main happening or the actor, or I guess, not the leading actor in this whole story. It's a supporting role. Okay, so something happened to the hand. What's happening? Okay, we have on the right side, 空. That means empty. We talked about this character before just by itself, because emptiness or void is such a huge concept in Chinese aesthetics or our philosophy, because we don't want to fill every space with positive things. We leave lots of negative space. And this negativity is part of what makes us feel the positivity there. So this, binary, this yin and yang, this transitioning between the two is deeply in our culture. So how we express void is this arch with a chimney, that's human quarters, and the top, like this, is, according to scholars, and I don't have a better version than that, is the air channels. So this came from the ancient caveman living quarter age. So our ancestors, before they can have enough tools to build self-standing architecture as a housing, as human quarters, they have to pick out a good enough cave, have good ventilation, there's air channels on the top left and right corners, to use that as a living quarters for humans. And then the bottom here is craftsmanship tool representation. So this is a fly square tool that make perfect rectangular shapes or perpendiculars that's easy to depict and commonly used to represent the whole craftsmanship. So just like the three-finger hand holding the fortune-telling tool, this house building perpendicular checking measure tool representing the whole human devised tool category. Eventually, the tool used to describe the craftsmanship. And this paired with emptiness, with the cave, we can view it as ancient times humans used tools to empty that cave so that it's better human living quarters. And this emptiness of the living quarter extends to any kind of emptiness. And therefore, it becomes the emptiness or void concept. When we have the five finger next to the void, what do you think? What the hand is doing? Okay, without a checking dictionary, just by imagining some hand motion makes something void. Is it like empty a bottle of glass? No, this is an ancient practice of pulling the bow at a bow and arrow time era. That's major ancient long range weaponry before it was obsoleted, right? This pulling arrow, I guess, the bow, pulling out the bow to the full tension so you can shoot. You can have the maximum power going on that arrow, shooting far away. That action is this hand plus void, because you're using both of your hands, creating this tension, creating this void between the string of the bow and the bow structure, the fixed part and the movable part, by pulling further away from each other. That's how you create tension. That's how you shoot the arrow. So arrow shooting was the original meaning of this. Five finger hand symbol plus void. Hand created void or tension when shooting the arrow. Now, that eventually extends to control, because, okay, shooting an arrow, archery, is a skill. And for you to be accurate, not only shoot far, but also shoot accurately at your enemy, you have to be able to have good control. And eventually this opening the bow become the representation of the whole concept of control. Have good control, muscle control, posture control, directional control. So many things to control in archery so that you can get it accurately out. And timing as well, right? The whole gamut of human body consciousness, targeting, control. Okay, hard control, as I said, means somebody lost track of themselves, lost the self-control, so that they kind of being controlled by the phone, social media, or other things that make you lose your self-control. And that's 硬控, how in today's world we express ourselves, temporarily lose our own self-control. Thank you for your time. See you another day.